Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Max with my Season 6, Episode 6, Game of Thrones reaction review, all of my thoughts and theories. But before I get into it, I just want to give a quick disclaimer. I got my wisdom teeth pulled out last Tuesday. So that being said, right now I'm in an immense amount of pain and I'm on a ton of drugs. So we'll see if I'll be able to get through it. Trev is not joining me today because we actually sat down to do this on Wednesday. Or no, we did it on Thursday. And I was still in a lot of pain and I was still on a lot of drugs and I couldn't do it. I kept laughing and it was a mess. I was like out of my mind. So I'll edit a little blooper reel for that and I'll link it down below. I'm gonna make the video private, and I'll give you a little tease right now.
Okay, we're good.
Grown man cry. Hey, yeah, there's an alliance between the Faith and the Sparrows. So I was watching Cersei talking to.
Yeah, so it was pretty bad, and because of my mistake, I'm gonna be doing this alone. So I'm gonna try and carry a conversation by myself on a lot of drugs. My face is swollen to the size of a watermelon, but I'll get through it, guys. I'll get through it. And it's gonna be a quicker episode. I didn't really have time to really delve as deep as I would want to, but I'm really just giving my initial thoughts and what I think of the episode and what I think is going to come. So we start the episode with Bran and Meera. Meera's trying to run away with Bran from the Whites, and Bran is getting all these visions that he has been given and, in a sense, has downloaded from the Three-Eyed Raven. So the visions that we get, I pretty much broke them up into 4 categories. We get more of wildfire, we get dragons, we get Bran's personal experience and personal life, and then we get the White Walkers. So we start off with the wildfire, and I think it's interesting how all the imagery between these, it really tells you that everything that, like wildfire and all these things that are dragon related and dragons, are the key to saving the world from White Walkers. So that includes Valyrian steel, it includes dragonfire, it includes wildfire, it includes dragon glass. So anything that can be formed from anything dragon related is going to be able to kill a White Walker, or cure it for that matter. We see people creating wildfire, which I believe is in the past, but however, I think there is still wildfire in the dungeons of King's Landing. I think Cersei, that's the only thing she really has her hand on right now, is being able to create wildfire. I think they did use the majority, if not all, of the stock in the fight for Blackwater Bay, but I feel like there are still some down there. And then we see the Mad King for the first time. We see him yelling, "Burn them all." And then we see Jaime kind of approaching the Mad King. And in quick flashes, we see him backstab the Mad King and sit on the throne himself. And then we see a wildfire explosion in the tunnels of King's Landing. So this tells me many things. First of all, we're going to be getting a full scene of Jaime Lannister killing the Mad King later in the season. Because I can tell, because they've actually filmed the whole scene, and I believe they were taking cuts from it to put in this vision. So we'll probably be getting that around episode 10 with the answer of Tower of Joy. The Mad King saying burn them all, it kind of made us think that the reason he was saying burn them all was because of the White Walkers. I'm not the kind of guy who says Bran is responsible for everything. I think when you're dealing with time, it's a constant loop. Bran can't change time. Bran is not Bran the Builder. Bran is not this person. Bran is not the Three-Eyed Raven previously. All Bran is a person who took on the mantle of the next Three-Eyed Raven. And what his job is he can't change the past, which is what's so weird about it. But he is there to make the future happen the way it was supposed to, if that makes any sense. So it's just a question now, is Bran going to make the Mad King mad by accident? Or was he already destined to be mad? So maybe saying burn them all because Bran had an effect in that, maybe not. But we'll see. But the most important thing here is the wildfire explosion. I think the explosion isn't from the past. I think this is the one shot we get that's actually from the future. And I think that's an ability we haven't really seen yet. But I believe, time is like a river. It constantly flows in the same direction. If you throw a ripple in it, if you throw a rock in it, it'll make a ripple. But guess what? The water's still going to go the same way. It may just be a different way. This, for example, if King's Landing was supposed to blow up, no matter what ripple or anything you throw in that water, it's still going to blow up. You can't change the future. You can only affect the way to come to the future. I feel like it's really weird talking about this when I'm so high on drugs or whatever, but that's how I feel. Maybe I can do an in-depth, better explanation later, but this is the best I got. But the explosion, I think, is from the future. I think it is either from Cersei, who blows up all of the supply caches of wildfire to deal with the Sparrows because King's Landing is totally taken over. Maybe the people of, she probably has it out for all the people in King's Landing because they are all supporters of the faith, and it will be a result of Tommen's death. Or it could be Drogon. We see a dragon flying over King's Landing, and maybe his wildfire would, or the dragon's fire would burn and kind of catch the wildfire. Who knows? But I know that that's an explosion from the future, and that explosion will lead to the destroyed King's Landing we see in Season 2 with the vision with Daenerys. So we go to dragons. We see Drogon flying over King's Landing, which we saw in Season 4. It's nothing new. But then that's the assumption, is it Drogon? Really, do we know? Because we see another dragon, very quick. It's a freeze frame of a single black dragon, kind of flying in a cloudy sky. This dragon is not Rhaegal, Viserion, or Drogon. I believe it is a dragon from the past. I don't think there are going to be any new dragons. I don't think there's an ice dragon. I don't think there is a dragon living under Winterfell. I think the 3 dragons right now are the ones we got, unless they decide to procreate in the future. But the reason they keep giving us these dragons is to just give us more information that the dragons are what is key to stopping the White Walkers. And then we go to the personal side, where I think this is just, these visions really cued into Bran's psyche. It just showed him, his family and what they've been through, and the pain, where it doesn't really give you any revelations. It just shows where Bran's mind's at. His mind keeps thinking about his family, so he's seeing visions about that. He's seeing him falling. He's seeing his dad dying. He's seeing crows flying, which was the shot that guided Sam and Gilly away from the White Walker, which I believe was the three-eyed raven, the old three-eyed raven. We see a bloody hand near a bloody stomach, which is definitely 100% the Tower of Joy. That's Ned Stark's hand, and that's Lyanna Stark's stomach. No question about it. I knew as soon as I saw it. We'll see that episode 10. And then we see Roose stabbing Robb. And then we go over to the White Walkers. We see a baby turn to the White Walker, telling Bran that these things can be created. And also we see Hardhome, and we see more whites. So all of this information really foreshadowed how to deal with these White Walkers. And I feel like right now, all of these visions are in such a mess in his head that he needs to get to another weirwood tree to kind of decipher all of the information. I think the weirwood tree he gets to at the end of this season is the tree just outside of the wall where Jon and Sam swear their vows. And then I think either, episode 10 he finishes off there, and in season 7 he has to make his way south to the tree under Winterfell. Or he's going to head to the wall at episode 10, where the wall would come down. Because I believe the mark on his arm, it did take away the magic in the weirwood tree, which allowed the whites and White Walkers to come in. So I believe literally it's going to take away the magic of the wall, and it's going to come down. But what's funny about it is I think magic actually holds the wall up. So I think literally as Bran passes through it, the wall's going to come down. So then that's what's going to be so scary about it, is that in season 7 the wall's going to be down, but there's not going to be any White Walkers yet. So it's going to be just a matter of time. So everyone's going to be preparing. Everyone's going to be getting ready for the big fight to come. And then the White Walkers will come. And then they'll be like, oh shit, look, this wall's down, guys. And they'll just come on over. But then we get the big reveal. So Meera's pretty much given up. She says she's so sorry to Bran. And then guess what? A guy who looks a lot like Benjen comes. Well, you can't really say he looks like Benjen because he's wearing a mask. But he's very reminiscent of Cold Hands. And I knew it when I saw him. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this is where they're going. And then you see this guy save him. He has kind of like a chain and a ball with magic on it. Very reminiscent of the Children of the Forest. It's almost like the ball that they use. So I feel like they really beat us over the head with he is talking to them. He was talking to the Children of the Forest. He was talking to the Three-Eyed Raven. And he was there to save them, and they escape. So then after they escape, it immediately cuts to Sam and Gilly on their way to Hornhill. So for this quick scene with Sam and Gilly, there's not much to analyze. It's more of just character development, which I loved. I'm a big fan of Sam. And pretty much what he was telling Gilly was that, she has to lie and say that little Sam is actually his son, and that they're together, and he wants to protect them. Because if his dad knew that she was a wildling, he would freak out. So then they get there, and then he meets Sam, Sam's mom and Sam's sister. And they're both very nice. And I just really enjoyed the scene, just because it was nice to see where Sam's from and learn more about Sam. And see that there's more depth to his family than you think. Like, obviously his mom loves him, and his mom's amazing, and his sister loves him. But the issue is his dad, and his dad is a hard ass. And we'll get to his dad later when they get ready for dinner. So then it cuts and we go straight to Tommen and the High Sparrow. So with Tommen, we're finding out more and more that, he has this difficult relationship with the High Sparrow where, he's not seeing him as such a bad guy as his family is. And I think it's interesting because back when Joffrey died and they're standing there and Tywin is saying, what is necessary for being a king? The first thing Tommen says is holy. Which kind of foreshadows what his fate will be, as well as what kind of character he is. He's a very gentle guy, and he listens to his peers, and he was taught as a young kid to sit and listen and take counsel, and that's what he's doing as king. And he's doing that even with his enemies. And in this case, his enemy is very, very persuasive. And the High Sparrow has a very good way of convincing Tommen that what he's doing is right. Which, in a sense, I can't argue against that. During the time period, he believes that everyone is equal, even the high lords and the low people, the low people. I can't think of another word. I'm sorry, and the poor people of the city. And Tommen thinks, hey, we do all need to answer for our sins. Just because I wear a crown on my head doesn't make me any more special than the other guy. So Tommen is pretty much just expressing his concern for Margery, and he really wants to ensure her safety. And because of this, the High Sparrow is really telling him that, he has nothing to worry about, and lets him visit Margery. So as soon as he sees Margery, you really see her start to put on her face. She puts on her manipulative face. She starts smiling. She starts saying that she was very sinful. She says that, she was seen as this good person, but she made sure that other people were watching her when she was doing good deeds. And that everyone has to atone for her sins. And she made it clear, we all have to atone for our sins. And I think she was really manipulating Tommen there to get herself out. We saw her like a couple episodes ago seeing Loras, and she was telling him, be strong, be strong. And she saw Loras broken. He wanted to get out of there, and she cares about her family and her family name. He's the lead of her family, and she needs to get him out of there. And I think she realized, Tommen is not going to do anything to get me out of here, so I got to do it myself. So she kind of manipulated Tommen to let her get out of there, not do the Walk of Atonement. But now the problem is that they have an alliance with the Faith. So it'll be interesting to see what they want to do after that. But I think the whole move Margery was doing there was to try and get herself out, because it's been so long and nobody's tried to get her out. And I think as soon as she saw everyone come out, like Jaime and her father and the whole Tyrell army come out to save her, I think she was kind of like, wow, but holy shit, wow, damn it, I kind of messed up. But then there's so many cuts. I'm going in chronological order, guys, but we go straight to Sam and Gilly again. So Gilly comes out dressed for dinner. She looks great. Awesome. They go to the table. It's funny seeing Sam because he can't really like connect with his family. He's like, this venison is amazing. He's like, would you get it today? Well, no, they can't eat it today, Sam, because it hasn't been like purified. I don't know, whatever. I'm not a hunter. But Sam doesn't get it. And, his dad starts calling him fat when he wants more bread. He starts, talking shit to Sam, saying that he hasn't manned up. And I really appreciate how, Sam didn't stand up to his dad. I feel like it was something that we all wanted. We wanted Sam to finally stand up to his dad. But he's done so much growing. The Sam that we saw in Season 1 is not the Sam we saw in Season 6. And it makes sense that when he comes back to his roots, his dad is he's the most scared of his father. And it makes sense for Sam to just shut down. So Gilly had to be the one to stand up for him. And in doing so, saying that he killed a White Walker, and then she reveals that she is actually a wildling. So the dinner didn't go so great. And, Randall says that she'll take the baby and she'll take Gilly and they will raise the kid. Maybe not the best life, but Sam is not welcome at Hornhill ever again. And he really made sure to point out that, see that sword? We've had it for 500 years in our family, called Heartsbane. It's supposed to go to my eldest son. You're never going to get that sword. It's like my most prized possession, blah, blah, blah. And as I was watching it, we're like, okay, they're really beating us over the head with, like, this is a really important sword. And I liked how they did that. But I did not expect for Sam to say goodbye to Gilly, walk back in, and take the kid and Gilly, and then steal the sword. Did not expect that. Like, I don't think Sam was thinking. It was one of those things where Sam pretty much was saying, fuck you. Like, oh, this is your greatest sword. It's my sword now. And he took it. Like, fuck you. And I don't think he was really thinking about the outcome of that. So now we have Sam on the run from his dad with Heartsbane, with Gilly and the baby. And they know he's going to the Citadel. So it's just a couple questions I have with this. Is where is he going? Is he going to fulfill his vows and become a maester? Or is his whole idea changed? Because now he has this baby and Gilly, so he has to figure out what to do with them. He's going to the Citadel, so he has nowhere to run. So is he just going to sit out in the open and let his dad come and get him? And then what's the sword going to be used for? Sam's not going to learn how to use that sword. So I'm not sure. Is he going to melt it down and learn about Valyrian steel? Learn how to recraft Valyrian steel? I'm not sure. But I really did like the Sam and Gilly scenes. I really enjoyed it. I liked all the character moments. Even though there's not much to analyze, I still loved it, and I'm really excited to see what Sam does next, because he's the one character I have no idea. That caught me so off guard. So now we go to Arya Stark's story. She's watching Joffrey's poisoning. She obviously finds it pretty funny, showing that she isn't really faceless at all. And then, Cersei comes in and she makes a speech about how her son died. And then you see Arya kind of get upset, and her laughter turns into seriousness, and she gets all upset. And then she sneaks backstage to go poison the actor Cersei's drink. But then on her way out, she ends up talking to her. And the Cersei actress tells her her life story. Tells her about how she always wanted to be an actress, how she used to watch over and over again, and then she finally made it to be an actress. And then she complained that her last speech was shit. And then Arya told her how to change it based on her own emotions, saying that, she wouldn't just be sad, she'd also be angry. And then we see how this change affected the actor Cersei, how she actually wanted to change the script after talking to Arya. And then Arya makes a quick decision and comes back and knocks the drink out of her hand. And then on top of that, tells her to watch out for the Sansa actress because she wants her dead. And then Arya knew that she was done. She's like, okay, that was the moment where she realized I can't be faceless. She goes to get Needle, and then she goes into hiding. We see the waif go and tell Jaqen. She says, she didn't fulfill her duties, and she says, you promised me, to Jaqen H'ghar. Jaqen H'ghar says, don't let her suffer. So I found this interesting because, Trevor, in our reaction video, he said that this could be a competition to see who is the true faceless person. So I think that's an interesting idea, but I'm not sure. Because I think the waif has proven that she isn't a faceless person. We've never seen her wear a mask. She's always out there in the open, wearing her normal face. And she has attitudes that someone who is truly no one shouldn't have. She seems jealous of Arya. She always wants the worst for Arya. And saying, promise me, she shouldn't have any aspirations to hurt Arya because she's truly no one. So she's showing all these feelings that means that she's not truly faceless. And I think Jaqen does care for Arya a lot, and he doesn't want her to suffer, but at the same time, you can't have her live because she has faceless men inside her secrets. So she has to die, but at the same time, I think this is a test for Waif just as much as it is for Arya. I think the Waif really hasn't proven that she's a faceless person yet. But I think the next episode really is Arya planning how she's going to do this. She could do it in many ways. She's been blind for a while, so maybe we can get like a Batman Bane scene where she turns off the lights, she goes somewhere dark, and she fights her somewhere where the Waif doesn't have her senses. She could run. She could hunt down the Waif before she finds her. There's so much that Arya could do. So I'm not sure, but I'm definitely sure by the end of this season she's going to be out of there. And then unfortunately with Arya, I feel like she will stop the Waif, she will kill the Waif. And then when she gets back to Westeros, she's going to be killed by another faceless person because she cannot be living with these secrets. She can't be let off the hook, and I don't think she will. I think everything will be fine. We'll forget about the faceless men, and then Arya will be killed out of nowhere. So we go back to King's Landing. We see Mace Tyrell's really shit speech. And it shows how inept he is. The guy can't even ride his own horse. He has a guy leading his horse. So when they finally get to the top, we see Jaime be a badass. He climbs up the stairs with his horse and confronts the High Sparrow. But then the High Sparrow turns off the Walk of Atonement, saying that she has atoned for her sins because she's brought a new person to the faith, and that person is Tommen. And then the King's Guard come out. They have a new 7-pointed star with a crown in between, and he announces that there is a new alliance between the faith and the crown. I found this interesting because the High Sparrow now has pretty much all the power because Tommen is listening to everything he is saying. Jaime is removed from the King's Guard, and he's ordered to go help the Freys take back Riverrun. And the reason, Tommen does that because the High Sparrow told him to. So that's what's so funny about it, is that he removed his own uncle/father because the High Sparrow is whispering in his ear. So it shows Tommen is he's really into this faith shit right now, and he's not gonna change. And I feel like that's gonna end up being it's gonna lead to his fate. So we go to Jaime and Cersei, and Jaime's pissed. He wants to go to Bronn and give him a big bag of gold and gather up all of Bronn's friends and who are super killers, and he wants to kill all the sparrows that he can find. And I found this interesting because Cersei's actually the level head in this conversation. She says that that's not smart. He should be the head of their armies where he belongs. He should take back this stupid castle to show who Lannisters really are. So this really leads to, Jaime's gonna be going and confronting the Blackfish to take back Riverrun. And Jaime's in the mode now where he's like, I need to take back this castle to prove myself, to get my armies together so I can go back to King's Landing. And this is interesting because now Bran is going to talk to the Blackfish to try and get an army. So it's going to be interesting to see what the role is here. Who's she going to talk to first? Is she going to talk to the Lannisters first, or is she going to talk to the Blackfish first? If she talks to the Blackfish first, he's going to know that she has a friendship with Jaime Lannister. She's wearing Lannister gold. Is he going to tell her to treaty, to parlay with the Lannisters, or to kill the head Lannister? Or is she going to talk to Jaime Lannister first, and Jaime's going to say, great, let's, to help me take back this castle, and then these people who have nothing to do, they can go help fight for Sansa. So it's really hard to think of what they're going to do. And it's hard for me to sit down and think of what they're going to do right now because I am in a lot of pain right now. But anyways, we go to the Freys. Pretty much just giving us information on what the Blackfish has done. They lost Blackfish at the Red Wedding, and now he's taken back River Run. The Brotherhood without banners are now rallying commoners and raiding camps to help fight. So this is fun because we're going to see Thoros and Meera again. And we're going to see the Brotherhood without banners, so it'll be great. I'm really excited to see them. And we realize that they actually have Lord Edmure. The guy who got married at the Red Wedding. They have him hostage, and I think he's toast. I think he's dead next episode. They have a thing of reintroducing characters that haven't been around for a couple seasons and killing them off. I think that's what's going to happen with Lord Edmure. So we snap back to Bran, Meera, and Benjen. Benjen reveals who he really is underneath that kind of cloak. He says that the Three-Eyed Raven sent him, and he says that now he lives again, which I guess means that Bran has now taken the mantle of the Three-Eyed Raven. So Benjen reveals himself. He gave him rabbit's blood, which I don't know if that's a survival technique or if that's some kind of magic thing. I'm kind of inept in the survival aspect of things. But then we find out his story. So he went out. He was hunting for White Walkers. He got stabbed by the Sword of Ice. He was left to die, and the children found him. So I don't know if he was turning into a White Walker or what, but they ended up saving him by stabbing a piece of dragon glass into his chest. So that raises the question, can the Night's King now be killed? Or not killed, can the Night's King be cured? We know the Night's King has a piece of obsidian in his chest. So it's almost like, did the Children of the Forest make him kind of a half White Walker to save him from dying? So does that mean that the White Walkers can't die unless they're burned? Because Benjen's heart's probably not beating right now. He's probably just a walking corpse. So it's interesting to see what happens. And Benjen says, one way or another, the Night's King will find his way to the world of men, and when he does, he will be there waiting for him. And I think the important part of this quote is waiting. Bran's going to be waiting for him. When he comes into Westeros, Bran is going to be waiting for him at the Weirwood Tree under Winterfell. And I feel like that's the point where they say, we have to stop this fight. It has to stop at the wall before they get to Winterfell. And I'm going to save my Bran rant for the next episode, but everyone thinks that Bran can be all these characters and all these different things. I'm going to save that for another time. I am not in the mindset to do a full-blown talk right now. I'm sorry. But after getting your wisdom teeth removed, you'll understand how I'm feeling. I don't even know if I'm making sense right now. Let's go over to Dany. She has a cute little speech. She's walking and she needs 1,000 ships, which is exactly what Euron said that they're gonna make. So maybe that was kind of a nod, or maybe they want us to connect the dots. I'm not sure, but it's pretty obvious that Yara and Theon are going there. And I feel like the way they're beating us over the head with it is that Yara comes there and says, okay, we'll give you these ships if you help me take back the Iron Islands. And then they're going to go there, take back the Iron Islands, and they're also going to take the ships that Euron has made by force and give them to Dany, so she will have 1,000 ships. I don't know. I realize that doesn't make much sense. Bear with me, guys. And then she's told that she's a conqueror by Daario, which kind of foreshadows, who she really is. She's a ruler, but not a real ruler. She's truly a conqueror. Which kind of says, what is Dany going to become after she takes Westeros? Because she takes what's hers, but can she really sit on the throne? And then she sees like a gust of wind or something, leaves, and comes back with Drogon. She makes a pump-up speech and tells everyone that she gets to choose 3 Blood Riders, but she chooses all of the Dothraki to be her Blood Riders. And everyone gets all pumped up and excited. And I think, her 3 Blood Rider thing, that was really an introduction to what's going to happen in the show. I don't know if she's going to go back to Meereen next episode, because she can just fly there, or she's going to stay with her Dothraki army. But I feel like the step when she gets there is to let out Viserion and Rhaegal, and to kind of train them with Drogon. Bring them out as she's riding Drogon. and then maybe they'll realize that Tyrion has an affinity for this one of the dragons. We will see, we will see. But that does it for my recap and review. I'm going to get into my predictions right now. I'm going to try and make it short and sweet. I'm sorry for today's episode. But episode 7 is called The Broken Man. And this is the description. The High Sparrow considers another target. Jaime confronts a hero. Arya makes a plan. And memories are awakened in the north. So I think the Broken Man, I think me and the majority think that it's Sandor Clegane, the Hound. But I don't think Clegane Bowl is going to be a thing. I'm not sure, because I feel like once he's introduced, it kind of makes it obvious that the Clegane Bowl is a thing, but hear me out. In the trailers, we hear Cersei saying, "I choose violence." Why would she say, "I choose violence"? I feel like what's going to happen is an option was chosen that she didn't expect. She is so gung-ho about being, doing, what's it called? Oh my god, I'm so out of it. Doing the fight, you know, where, oh my god, where Gregor fights the trial by combat. There we go, trial by combat. She's so gung-ho about a trial by combat and that she's going to win. I feel like the rules are going to change. Either it's a fight, combat by 7 or 7 fight. I forget what it's called. I'm sorry guys, I'm on too many drugs. And then I feel like that's going to put a ripple and she's not going to want to do it. She says, "I choose violence," or maybe she's defeated in some way. But I feel like the Broken Man is the introduction of Sandor Clegane again. I just don't know where he's going to be. Is he going to reunite with... Is he going to see Brienne? Is he going to be in the Riverlands? Or is the person who brought him back bring him to King's Landing because, oh, religion has taken the city. Let's go and take my holy people and go visit this great High Sparrow. So maybe he might show up in King's Landing. Who knows? But I feel like, you know, really what the story is going to be focused on is Arya. I feel like Arya, you know, I can't get enough of her story right now. And I feel like there's a couple pictures that I saw. It's really interesting. She kind of looks like a Ned Stark. I feel like they're doing that with Jon Snow and her. They give her like the Ned Stark hair. Same with Jon. And I feel like she's going to be strategically planning how she's going to defeat the Waif. Maybe at the end of the episode, we're going to have a holy shit moment when the Waif chases her. And Arya's going to be running for her life. And I think that's going to be the jaw-dropping holy shit moment of the episode. And I feel like it's going to be a crazy scene. I feel like we're going to see Jon and Sansa. They're going to be rallying the north. They're going to be at the Mormonts. We see that in the preview. I feel like they're going to get the support, and I feel like the Mormonts are going to help them rally more bannermen. And then we also see Tormund sticking up for Jon, saying that, you know, he died for us. We should do the same for him. I feel like we're going to see with the scene with Tyrion and Minerva. I feel like Minerva is going to realize there's more to Tyrion than she thinks. She's going to see him in the flames, and I feel like it's going to be this conflict between, you know, Daenerys is our savior, but then who the hell are you? Why are you so important? And I feel like we're not going to get a Bran appearance. I feel like the next time we get a Bran appearance, maybe a quick one in episode 9, but I feel like episode 10, we're going to get the Tower of Joy, and we're going to get maybe the Mad King. As soon as he gets to that tree, we're going to be getting all these visions. But that being said, guys, I'm going to have to wrap it up. It was a quick episode, but I apologize. I wasn't able to go in as deep as I wanted. I wasn't able to really track my ideas. I don't even know if I'm making sense right now. I apologize. I'm on like 3 medications right now for painkillers. I'm so excited for the next episode. I hope I'm alright for the reaction video. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.